You are now listening to Sports Talk 916 with Greg Bull and Coach Greg Veroza.
If you'd like to participate in this show and listen live, there's a number of ways to do it. You can go to the Mixlr app, or you can follow us on Facebook Live every Sunday. You can also go on the wildfireradio.com website and listen to us Tuesdays at 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Pacific. And if you want to contact us, head over to our website at sportstalk916.com. There you'll find all of our social media feeds, bonus after-hours content that you won't hear anywhere else. Did you catch that?
No, I don't.
Nice cough.
Cough cam.
Hey, what's happening? Sunday, February 11th. I know that date pretty easily. I can remember that. Episode 236, Sports Talk 916. I'm Coach Greg. That's Mr. Chief, Greg Bull. Together we're the two-headed monsters of Greg. We call it Sports Talk 916. And slow week again, huh?
Another slow
Nothing
week.
going on.
No, nothing at all happened in anything to do with sports that we like. So.
And none of our members made asses of themselves this week.
Right, so we'll see how it goes. First and foremost, happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
29?
Again.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, it was fun. I had an open house. It was pretty successful. And then got my ass handed to me in a poker game and came home and was asleep by 11:30.
You're supposed to win at your poker game.
Yeah, that was the whole point.
We need new equipment.
I know. And I need to be able to feed myself. And
right.
That didn't work. So, but it was fun. Got to spend it with a bunch of buddies and it was good. It was a good day all together. So thanks for all the, I think I got back to everybody that wished me a happy birthday. It took me about 2 hours to do it, but
damn, you didn't get back to mine.
Yeah, I did.
No, I don't think so.
I think I did.
I'm pretty sure you did.
I think I texted you.
No, you didn't. Anyways.
Whatever. So anyway, thank you for everybody who took the time.
Yep, and today would have been my mom's 54th birthday, so happy birthday 54th?
to her. 54th?
Yep.
Really?
64th.
I was going to say, I thought she was older than I was.
Yeah, sorry about that. 64th. So happy birthday there as well. Let's jump right into it. So, as we talked about, I mean, our weeks that was probably the culmination of our week. Nothing big happened. But TJ turns 36 on Friday. Happy birthday, TJ.
Shit, you're young.
I turn 32.
Shut up.
In a month, so suck it. James Hines says happy birthday, old man, with 3 middle finger emojis.
Yeah, you're still a year older than I am.
You're old too. All right, let's do this. There was a big game last Sunday. We capped off the show. Two teams played football, and the Super Bowl happened.
Yeah.
So, did you get a chance to actually watch the Super Bowl this year?
I watched the whole thing.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Sober, too.
Yeah, I wasn't. I drank.
Yeah, no, I was sober.
What'd you think of the game?
I actually thought it was a really good game. Dominant offenses. Defenses were a little weak, and I think Peterson's a badass.
Yeah.
He is a badass. And I heard this 100 times over the week, but if a coach could get the MVP of the Super Bowl, it should have been he would have been the one to do it. I mean, some of those calls he made, I was watching with a bunch of buddies, and every fourth down, it's like, no, just kick the field goal, take the points, just kick the field goal, and he didn't. And I think he got Belichick's goat on that. I think he outsmarted him, outcoached him.
So what's funny is a lot of people, same thing, praising Peterson, especially on that trick play where Foles caught the touchdown from the goal line. And, a lot of people were like, oh, that was a genius move. On the flip side of that, Belichick tried the same thing.
Earlier, yeah, in the
game. And to me, while Peterson's call was probably the ballsiest and most, I don't know, outside of the box thinking move that needed to be done to shift the momentum solely into Philadelphia's hands,
right?
Belichick's was by far the most idiotic call you can imagine in a Super Bowl.
You're thrown to probably the most
fragile.
I mean, he's unathletic. He doesn't move real well, and he's your franchise. If you lose him, you lose everything. There's no way you're even going to stand in the game.
Brady goes out, you put Brian Hoyer in the game.
Exactly.
And let me refresh the season. 0-11 was started in combination with Brian Hoyer as a 49ers quarterback.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, sure, if the play works, then everyone's like, oh, he's a genius. But if Brady gets hurt, or if he pulls something trying to reach up and catch that overthrown ball or whatever it is, then everything shifts, right?
Well, I think if he catches the ball and he starts running, if he doesn't run out of bounds, he's got a huge target on his back. They're gonna
he becomes a runner.
Him.
He's not a protected quarterback anymore.
They're gonna create. I think that was, out of all the things that I've seen Belichick do over the years, I think that was the dumbest thing. The dumbest call that he's ever made.
Well, and what's crazy is I know the design of that play was for him to literally catch the ball, take a step, duck out of bounds.
Right.
The problem is Brady ran his route 3-4 yards or maybe 3 yards away from the sideline. He turned up field so early that he left himself out on an island. And if he catches that, newsflash, those Philadelphia safeties, they're fast, and they hit hard. You don't throw him the ball where he literally catches it and takes one step out of bounds, and those guys get a chance to light him up as a runner and not a quarterback. Brady may not play next year, let alone the rest of the Super Bowl. So Belichick definitely, gets a knock on that one. As you said, the defenses were non-existent, which is funny because we talked so heavily right before the game about Philly's D is going to be what matters.
Yeah.
And they were nothing. I do have to toot my own horn a little bit because obviously I got my MVP prediction wrong, but I said it on 1140, our radio station here in town, on Friday, I believe it was, and then I reverbed exactly what I said on their show on ours, and I said, this was after everyone called in saying that Foles is going to be a joke, Foles is going to be terrible, blah, 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 blah. I said Foles is going to have over 325 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. And Foles threw for 352 yards, 3 touchdowns, an interception, and had a receiving touchdown. So I think I was probably, I used this term already today, I feel like I was already on an island making that prediction because even our boys in Philly didn't have the hope that Foles was going to come out and go out of control like he did. And really, I mean, you look at him and we talked about it. It was an audition. If Philly wants to be, supportive of that, they can allow him to seek out trade offers. They can allow him to seek out other offers somewhere else. If they don't and Wentz has a setback in his recovery, then guess what? They have a very capable quarterback to lead them until Wentz comes back. So bravo to Nick Foles. Bravo to the Philadelphia Eagles. First Super Bowl championship in franchise history. And Philly fans, I say thank you because you guys have completely solidified the nationwide narrative that you guys are a bunch of fucking retards. The celebration, man. They ripped down the awnings at the Ritz-Carltons. They still got up the grease light poles. They ripped things down, vandalizing like crazy. But to cap it all off,
what's this? Yeah.
There was one fan in the middle of the melee.
Oh, I didn't see this.
That literally got down on his hands and knees as the police were going through the crowd trying to disperse everyone, bent down, picked up a pile of horse shit, and ate it during the celebration that night. If you haven't seen it, there's video everywhere.
No, I don't want to see it.
YouTube.
I don't want to see it.
If anyone represents the delusional Philly fan, because we've met a couple of them.
Yeah.
Literally 2, maybe 3 if you count John from Wildfire.
Yeah.
There's a handful of Eagle fans that are worthy of finally getting to celebrate a championship. There's a couple people here in Sacramento that I know that are big Eagles fans, so I give credit to them. But damn it, the other ones, they fit the snowball throwing mold in Philly. So bravo to you guys. For
what do you think
keeping up the
about
narrative.
Kelsey's little thing on the?
He needs to be governor. That dude, if his speech after the game and his speech during the parade didn't pump you up.
Well, the speech after the game was great. The speech after the parade was more like an audition for WWE.
Not to mention the outfit he was wearing. What the hell was
I
that?
don't know.
But
hey, getting back
moment.
to the game a little bit, and I don't know if you have this written down or not. What do you think the effect of the Malcolm Butler thing was? And that whole, what's your take on that?
I don't think you can. So for those wondering, Malcolm Butler didn't play a snap.
Played one play on special teams. The
He
only
was-
punt of the game.
He was the hero in the game in the Seattle Super Bowl a year prior. Or 2 years prior, I guess.
3 years.
3 years when Marshawn Lynch didn't run, they threw the ball and he picked it up in the end zone. There were a ton of conflicting reports that he came out and, he came back from a party drunk. He was caught with weed in his room. He missed a meeting. Basically, it all came down to he missed a meeting. There was no other anything that came with it.
Apparently, he went to a concert too. That's why he was late for
Curfew. But he wasn't drunk. He wasn't high. There was no drugs found in his room. Many of his teammates came out and refuted that. He put out a big statement that refuted everything. And it was a curfew violation that caused him to miss the game. And I mean,
didn't he miss the team flight because he was sick or something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. You play that guy in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Sit him next year. Sit him in the first game next season. Let him, whatever. Punish him after the fact. That's what the NFL does.
Don't let him play the first quarter.
Sure. The NFL, elongates suspensions. Major League Baseball elongates suspensions. Oh, you're going to suspend it? Okay, yeah, we're going to let you play in the World Series, but you're suspended the first 5 games of next season. You don't take away the Super Bowl from the guy. But to say that one player changed, I heard a lot of people talk about this on the radio. That one player changed the whole outcome of the game. No, that defense on both defenses were flat. There was one sack the whole game, and it was that forced fumble with a little over 2 minutes ago in the fourth quarter by the Eagles.
And one punt. On the first series of the game, I think?
I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So TJ says Butler deserves to go elsewhere. He was done dirty. It is 9:22 on February 11th. Malcolm Butler will be the starting safety for the San Francisco 49ers next season.
Wow.
That's my prediction.
Okay.
We'll get into free agency in a little bit, but Pierre Garçon went on Twitter and after the whole thing tweeted him, hey, we got money out in the Bay. Come out here and play with us. Why wouldn't you want to be here? Eric Armstead retweeted it and liked it. Jaquiski Tart got in on it. Niner players are recruiting Malcolm Butler heavy. The Niners have tons of money. Well, like I said, we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's my prediction. Malcolm Butler.
I like it.
Eric Reed will be gone. Malcolm Butler slides in.
I like it.
And is the starting safety for the 49ers.
Maybe Eric Reed stays around and one plays free safety, one plays strong safety.
Yeah, but you still have Tart. You have who stepped up big this year.
You never have too many defensive backs, though.
That's true. You put Tart back at defensive back where he belongs.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What did you think of the halftime show?
I had mixed feelings about it. I like Justin Timberlake. I think he's super talented.
All right,
He
total
can do
non-homosexual man crush on that man.
Oh yeah, he can do anything he wants.
And he's tapping Jessica Biel. So
You're right.
Points to you, buddy.
The problem I had with it, first off, was the sound. You couldn't
hear him.
You couldn't hear anything. The sound was just horrible. The whole thing was pretty good. Obviously, when the Prince tribute came out, that brought down the house.
Right.
It wasn't the worst one I've ever seen. Coldplay.
God damn that one.
That was horrible. But it was good. It was good. It was, like I said, it didn't suck, but it was good.
The Coldplay, the Prince thing was cool. There was talks for the weeks leading up to it that he wanted to do a hologram of Prince on stage with them.
Right, I heard that.
Prince's family shot that down. They said, no way in hell that's not happening. So he did the tribute. And I thought it was cool how they lit up the the city too,
Right.
with his moniker, which is really cool.
Now there were some
What's up, Bill?
There were some rumors that NSYNC was going to show up.
Which I would have fucking went nuts for. I don't give a shit. Take my man card. I don't care.
There's also talk that Janet Jackson was going to show up.
I don't want to see a 55-year-old titty. She could
Well,
stay
I
away.
don't think she's going to. I think that probably would have been the reason why she showed up, is not to show it.
It's Janet Jackson though. They would have popped out that shit in a heartbeat.
So anyway, so I thought it was all right. Like I said, it wasn't great, but it wasn't Coldplay either.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't Coldplay. I'll give you that much. But overall, grade of the Super Bowl on a standard letter grading system. What do you give it?
B plus?
Yeah, I'll say B plus for sure.
Yeah, B plus.
But if the Patriots would have won, D minus.
F. So the party I went to, we had a little prop bet sheet that we filled out.
Of course you did.
It was fun. We had a good time. The overwhelming, there was probably 10 guys that filled it out. 9 of us picked New England, but we were all rooting for Philadelphia.
That was like the general consensus, I think. Everyone's gut said
New England, but everyone's heart was like, come on, right.
Philly.
So we were all rooting against ourselves. It was fun. It was a good time.
I didn't watch any of the commercials. Was there anything that stood out that I need to get on YouTube?
I didn't see. There was a couple of dilly-dillies that were bad.
I hate that.
They're actually not bad. I'm trying to think. What
Although
else.
I would take a beer wand. I mean, not a Bud Light wand, but I would take a beer wand. That's for sure.
Yeah, nothing really stood out. Did you see the Eli Manning?
That one I saw.
That was probably the best commercial out of all of them.
I give props to Eli because you did not think. I would never think that. I mean, it was basic, but that he could get out and
dance.
do that.
He can't dance.
Hey, props to Eli because I would have dropped OBJ.
But the whole thing was all through that we're like, is he going to do the lift? Is he going to do the lift? Is he going to do the lift? And when he did it, we cheered for a fucking commercial.
Right. Well, let's reverse that a little bit. The population over 30 was like, is he going to do the lift? Is he going to do the lift? Anyone under 30 is like, what the fuck is this from? No one knows what the hell that's from. So that was definitely geared toward the older crowd with the younger touch of the football player. But yeah, that commercial was great.
So how long before you think OBJ breaks out with you don't put Odell in the corner?
You don't put OBJ in the corner?
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Once he's healthy, once he gets shut down
nobody puts Odell in the corner.
Or nobody puts Eli in the corner. That would be another one too.
Yeah, that's true.
Bill says the commercials have sucked for about 10 years. Sadly, used to be the only reason why I watched. Yeah, I don't know if I go 10 years, but it's been bad lately for sure. Want to remind you guys real quick that Tony Pacheco at Folsom Lake Ford is in a heated contest there for sales and trying to get to Vegas. So he is offering crazy deals this month while trying to win this contest.
Cool.
He's won it 2 years in a row. He's trying to win it again, or he's maybe won it one year in a row. Trying to win it for the second year in a row. So if you're looking for a new car, you have a trade-in, you're looking for a new or used car, it doesn't matter. Folsom Lake Ford and Kia. Go see Tony Pacheco, tell him that we sent you, and get hooked up.
And Tony, bring us with you to Vegas.
Yeah, you know, if we refer the next 26 cars he needs, then let's go. We'll go with you.
I like it.
Let's see here. NBA trade deadline went down on Thursday.
Are we going to have a stupid thing Kings fans say segment today, or
not today? We don't have time, but maybe soon. We need the soundboard for that. Soundboard is dead, but
So yeah, I was. It was a weird trading deadline. It was almost like the last 45 minutes, the world just came unglued.
And it wasn't even that. It was the NBA trade deadline. It was Cleveland trades everybody today,
right?
So the big one was Jordan Clarkson and fuck, I just went blank. Who went with him to? We're gonna do King's Talk, Oscar. We're getting to that next.
Yeah.
Whatever. Isaiah Thomas went to the Lakers. Dwayne Wade's gone. I mean, everyone in Cleveland's gone, including a deal that the Kings made with them to send. Hey, there's Barnbaum.
Hey, Mikey.
Including the deal to send George Hill to Cleveland. In return, we got Joe Johnson, who was then bought out, and Amon Shumpert.
Is he gonna show up?
Shumpert will show up. He has one more year on his deal. He has. I mean, it's an option at the end of next year or this year, but he's got to play. And it might be good to see someone that can actually shoot the ball on the Kings.
Yeah.
And then Malachi Richardson was traded to Toronto for what they're calling him the, I don't remember what country the kid's from. I can't even think of his name. Clarkson and Nance. Thank you, Oscar. Larry Nance Jr. Went to Cleveland. They're calling him like the Brazilian LeBron or whatever country he's from. The kid that they got for Malachi.
Does he have doesn't he have an 8-foot arm span or something ridiculously long?
Yeah, he's like 6'8" with an 8-foot wingspan. Kid can play. Everyone in Sacramento's like, who the hell is this guy? He's going to be cut, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, you look at Twitter, and Toronto Raptors fans are pissed. Blowing up Twitter, ripping the team for getting rid of this kid. So who knows? Maybe.
Well, it wasn't the Kings fans that were politicking for him to get released. That's what the word was.
Yeah,
That's what the word came out,
released.
that he was going to get released. And then all of a sudden, it's like, no, we're not going to. So a couple of surprises.
On that one,
Yeah.
what I think is weird is like everyone's like, "Oh, this kid's gonna be released. He's gonna be released. Johnson's gonna be bought out." And then all of a sudden, the Kings are like, "Giorgio Papagiannis released," and you're like, "Oh, well, maybe they're keeping this young kid. Then see what happens." So,
Yeah.
Everyone's ripping Vlade. Just before you get to your thought, everyone's killing Vlade. He freed up a lot of cap space with Joe Johnson being bought out because they got $3 million from Cleveland in the deal too. So that helped with basically the whole buyout from Joe Johnson. They got
we gave him
George Hill.
George Hill. God, brains fart. We gave him George Hill and got $3 million in change. It's like going to 7-Eleven.
Yeah, and we got Iman Shumpert and the other kid, and got rid of Big George and Malachi Richardson in the process.
Yeah.
So what were we gonna say?
I was just gonna say, a couple of things struck me pretty hard over that 2 hours, and that is Isaiah Thomas has really fallen.
Oh my God!
And he's acting like a little baby.
He's acting like he's LeBron. It's like you're coming off of a major injury. You've been traded already this season. You're on your 5th team in 4 years, and you're literally going to go to the media before you even talk with the coach or the GM of the Lakers and start just throwing a tantrum. Like, you're not. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I love Isaiah Thomas, but you're not at the level currently that you can go in and basically throw your arms up and say, "Do what I say."
Right, and I think that's what got him into trouble in Cleveland, is he was trying to piss on LeBron's game.
Yeah.
He walked in there going, "Oh, we're having trouble with this, we're having trouble with that," and I could just see LeBron going, "What the fuck are you talking about, little man?
You've been here 8 minutes. How do you even know that? You haven't got the security yet. Like, what are you doing?" But anyways, what we're talking about is Isaiah texted Ramona Sherborne, the ESPN reporter that covers the Lakers primarily, and basically said, amidst reports that he was going to be backing up Lonzo Ball when he returns from injury, and it in all caps was, "I am not coming off the bench behind a rookie." Well, maybe you're better suited as a 6-man. Like, you're an energy guy. You're a spark plug. You come in off the bench and you light it up. You're the scoring option. That fits you perfectly.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up and play basketball. You're on a contract year, and you're really going to burn every bridge you can burn right now.
Yeah, I don't know what happens to him next year. Who's going to want to sign him?
I don't know.
I think he's a cancer.
Barnbaum says, "Will the new Kings play today when the team plays at the Timberwolves? I think they should have all reported to Sacramento by now, like Bruno and Shumpert." I would hope so. I'd like to see him play.
Yeah.
I mean, without him, we're down 3 guys. I mean, our roster's a little bit depleted.
It looked like shit on Friday night.
Yeah, and Jakar Sampson was murdered on the court a couple days ago. So, yeah, the Kings would sign him, Bill. That's right. The Kings would bring him back and DeMarcus Cousins on a max deal coming off of an Achilles injury.
Yep.
Fuck. Anyway.
The other thing a couple things, and that is, if you're Papa G, do you burn bridges like that?
No.
Do you say that the Kings are a horribly run organization? Nobody else is going to sign you. You're just shooting yourself in the foot for the one team that would gladly bring you back if they have the room or if they need you, where nobody else is going to sign you. You're a big stiff.
Yeah, I don't know. It's ridiculous. Let's get to something real quick, though, because Mike Barnbaum is online.
Oh, boy, Mike.
And I want to get opinion on this, because this, to me, is insane.
Mike, yeah.
So Mike, okay, let me give Mike credit where credit is due. Like you said earlier today, he's consistent.
He's loyal to a fault.
He's loyal to the A's by the umpth degree.
And the Kings and our show.
Kings, right, and he is.
And our show, and he's a good guy. We really appreciate his support that he's given us. And
so he goes to FanFest in AT&T Park yesterday to support his significant other.
Oh, is she the Giants fan? Is that why he was there?
That's what I got from it. He says, I have accomplished my mission on behalf of my better half, Donna, as we will be going to the July. He's going to the game.
Okay, good for
you.
So,
Mike, I give you great credit for being there. Mike, we could get to that too. Georgia Papianis's agent basically called the Kings dysfunctional, said he joined a dysfunctional organization the second he got there, and Katie Christian went off on him. He's right. So we'll leave it at that. But anyways, Mike goes, supports his lady, which I give you props for.
Yeah,
I mean,
good job.
It's kind of a thing that you do, right? You have a significant other, you don't agree on things, you find ways to support each other. You
go to Raider stuff every once in a while.
Yeah, I do Raider stuff. She goes to Rivercats game, or she would go to Rivercats games with Mike. I'm sure she goes to Giants or A's games with Mike. So we'll give him credit there. Now, Barnbaum goes off on a little bit of a tangent.
A little?
Mike goes off on one of the largest tangents you've seen in a long time. Trying to find it here. He says once the A's open up their new ballpark, it'll be better than the Giants. I'm going to go with a no on that because the A's aren't putting it on the water. If the A's would have put it on the water, I think it would have been better than AT&T Park.
And where are they going to put it anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody, they don't even have a spot
TJ says the new A's won't have a location until 2038. That's probably accurate. Let's see here. Where is that post? Maybe it's a different post. I think he did a follow-up post. It wasn't on his initial check-in here. Mike Barnbaum, because I need to read it verbatim because I won't be able to give it. I won't be able to do it justice if I try to paraphrase this. Here we go.
All right, sit back and enjoy.
We went through this in Sacramento. Now it's happening in San Francisco. In an earlier Facebook post of mine from today, I was at the wrong fan fest, but accomplished my mission for my better half Donna and I. With the time remaining before I had to get back on the mega bus to head back to home, we had the opportunity to visit what will become Warriors Ground. It is a complete construction site with everyone inside wearing hard hats, blah, blah, blah. Bookmark this post in your file photos for February of 2018, and it is the same day as the Fan Fest over in AT&T Park. Let's take some pictures of the progress at next year's Fan Fest just to see how far the Chase Center's coming along. Let's see. So basically, he's touting the that's not the right one either.
That's not the right. Yeah.
He's touting the reason.
It might be in a follow up. I think it was actually in a follow up to me. A question that I posed to him. A response.
Maybe. Let's see here. Mike, it's about time you came to the right. Here it is, right side of the bay.
Yeah.
He says, not really. Look at my latest Facebook post consisting mostly of the construction. We're talking about baseball. Go Giants. How could you possibly like what's going on that side of the bay when your Northern California basketball rival is moving there, leaving Oakland with one team, and all of Northern California with only one pro football team? Someday you will learn that the Kings fans are A's fans when it comes to their basketball-baseball alliance partners, while Warriors fans naturally are Giants fans when it comes to their baseball-basketball alliance. The two alliances are rivalry in their own nature. First of all, that's wrong. TJ says that's not always true. Why would Kings fans be A's fans? That makes zero sense. Barnbaum then replies, take a hard look at the future of the Warriors in terms of their facility. When you're at AT&T Park this season, do me a favor. Walk south on 3rd Street while staying on the ballpark side of 3rd. After crossing South Street and prior to getting to 16th, first of all, that's a long fucking walk. I will drive. Look to your left, and you'll see why A's fans that are currently Warrior fans will become Kings fans, while Giants fans that will be Warrior fans will only grow. Like Sacramento, Oakland can soon relate to being a one-town sports team. Northern California will become a one mega-region pro football team. Isn't it great to be a fan of the Kings, A's, and 49ers? Now come to terms and think about that for a while. And I said that makes no sense at all. And then there was more to it. TJ says that's not happening. I don't see A's fans becoming Kings fans because the Warriors are moving to San Francisco. And by the way, I will never be an A's fan. I prefer teams that prefer keeping their players and not operating as a minor league franchise for the major league level. Bingo. And then I got to give credit where credit's due because Keith Jogonatis, Mike, yes, there are many Kings fans that are A's fans. And we're going to get into why that's okay. But the rest of your logic is broken. Got to give Keith Jogonatis credit. Keith says, are you going to cheer for the River Cats this year? And Mike says the Nashville Sounds are rooted in Oakland. And Keith says, yes, but Sacramento River Cats are rooted in Sacramento. And then Mike goes off on one of his other things here. Keith, following the 2014 season, they changed allegiances from the A's to the Giants. How would you like it if the Golden One Center was going to become home to the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings moved to Nashville, Tennessee?
We'd have a winter and we'd be able to have parades.
Right. Let's see here. Number one, or he says you would you? Number one, I don't think so. And number two, that would never happen at the level of sports. Only at teams that play at a level in which they have to enter into a player development contract with. Will you find that from time to time? The lower level team, blah, 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 blah. For example, both the River Cats and the Grizzlies recently changed who their player development contract was with. Secondly, should the Reno Bighorns want to do the same thing, they have every right to do that. River Cats are not necessarily rooted in SAC like the Kings are because they completely changed their players when their PDC changed. The Sacramento River Cats are rooted in Sacramento. The River Cats have never left Sacramento. All they did was trade players, Mike. So you're wrong on that one. The Kings never have a player development contract with anybody because they are a top-level team in their sport. The Kings never have had a player development contract with anybody because they're a top-level team in their sport. Let me read it one more time. The Kings never have had a player development contract with anybody because they are a top-level team in their sport.
Okay. The answer to that is duh.
No, the answer to that is wrong.
Well,
the Sacramento Kings have a player development contract with the Reno Bighorns in the G League.
What he's saying is that the River Cats have a player development contract with the Giants. They provide players for the Giants. The Kings aren't providing players for anybody else.
Right, but
that's what he's saying.
But the player development contract works out the opposite way. It works up, not down. Therefore, the Bighorns are their PDA, as you're calling it, or PDC, as you're calling it, and they send players up. It's the same thing. And then TJ says, I would like to point out that I was a River Cats fan when they were affiliated with the A's. Bingo. You
me
root
too.
for the team, not the player.
Right.
And I said, root for the city. Sorry, Mike. You lose this one. Way to go, Keith. And then TJ hit the GIF. So there was a part of that I wanted to call out, and I already forgot what part it was. Rooted in Oakland. Oh, the whole allegiance thing. Mike says...
I'm spot on. Thanks, Mike.
Mike says there are many Kings fans that are A's fans. And I give you that 100%. There absolutely is. However, it's not because they were on either side of the bay.
There's Kings fans that are Raider fans. There's Kings fans that are Niner fans.
There's Kings fans that are Seahawks fans. I guarantee you that you're not going to go to Doug Christie tomorrow at a game and say, you're not allowed to be a Seahawks fan because you work and root for the Sacramento Kings. You have to be a Raider fan or an A's fan or 49er fan because they're closer. It doesn't work that way. There's a shitload of Dodger fans that are Kings fans. It's not a regional thing. It's how you were brought up. Sports typically rank all the way through lineage that comes from your dad, your uncle, your grandpa, whoever it may be. It does not mean two flying fucks. If the Warriors ended up moving to what's a city around Elk Grove? If the Warriors moved to Elk Grove and they were the Elk Grove Warriors, guess what? It's not going to change their fan base. Kings fans or whatever, they're not going to move somewhere else. If the Warriors move to San Diego, are you going to all of a sudden become Padre fans? No, people don't give a shit about that. They follow their team where they go. So Giants fans are going to continue to root for a winning franchise, even though the Warriors are 16 blocks away. And they're going to continue to root for their team. And Kings fans aren't going to give two flying fucks if they share a street. with the Giants and the Warriors. If you're a Giants fan, you're going to stay a Giants fan, and the Warriors fans that are A's fans are going to stay A's fans because they're rooted in their team's history.
You know what? Maybe it's an
location.
A's fan disease of non-logic because Bill Hefferman, I was only with the River Cats when they were with the A's and will not go to another game now. Why? It's a Sacramento team.
Yeah. It's
a Sacramento team. You know, you root for the names on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back of the jersey.
Well, you got to remember the River Cats were the only hope of a championship for the A's organization at that time.
Right.
You know, in the last 20 years. But let me ask this, Mike, since you're still on. What was the name of the Warriors before they became Golden State?
TJ?
Right. What's the name? What was the name across the jersey for the Warriors before they went to Golden State and they took on that moniker? Pretty sure that they were the San Francisco Warriors at one point, weren't they?
They were.
And then they went to Oakland, but they never changed.
Mike's not listening to us.
They never changed their name because if you think about it, even the Warriors didn't want to recognize the fact that they were playing in Oakland. They went from San Francisco, the San Francisco Warriors, to the Golden State Warriors to avoid being called the Oakland Warriors. No one wants to be called Oakland except for the Raiders, and unfortunately, they don't even want to be called Oakland anymore. The fans didn't go, oh, wait a minute. We live in San Francisco, and they were the San Francisco Warriors, but now they live in Oakland. We have to be, well, I don't know, Kings fans now because they're closer. They're on the north side of the bay. Dude, stop. The Warriors are simply going home. That's what they're doing. And Oakland wouldn't give them the land or anything for a facility. So guess what? San Francisco welcomed them back. It's not going to change the allegiance of the fans. You're still going to hate Warriors fans when they're here. You're still going to hate Giants fans whenever you go anywhere else. That's how it is. It's in your blood, Mike. So stop with the weird Facebook rants. It does make you look silly. We still love you, like I said, because you're passionate. No one that I know would have went on that long of diatribes or whatever you want to call it to argue that point as well as you did. Not saying you argued it, factually.
You argued it well. It just you were wrong.
So I give you props, Mike, because you dragged it out as long as you could. But unfortunately, you root for the franchise, not the location, because look at the 49ers. I mean, if you really want to get into it, you're a 49ers fan. Well, guess what? They're in Santa Clara. So does that mean you have to break all your allegiances and go with someone closer? That means by default, you'd have to be a Raider fan, right? Because they're now closer than the Santa Clara 49ers are. So that would make you by regional, default, you're now a Raider fan, an A's fan, and a Kings fan. Because Santa Clara is further south than southeast, southwest.
Makes no sense, Mike.
So, Mike, you tried. I give you credit for trying.
Swing and a miss.
But continue to be an A's fan. Continue to be a Kings fan. Continue to be a Nashville Sounds fan. Whatever you want to be. But the allegiances aren't changing based on that logic. So, since we have 1% left on the board, we're going to play Greg's commercial, and then we're going to talk about the team that you're no longer a fan of, Mike, because they live too far south, the San Francisco 49ers.
For all of your real estate needs in Sacramento area, Northern California, and across the country, give me a call, 916-223-6688. It's Greg Veroza from Keller Williams Realty. If you're out of the area, I know people all over the country that can help you out. So give me a call, 916-223-6688. Or you can go to my website, gregveroza.com.
All right, so something happened this week during the trade deadline, actually, for the NBA.
Jimmy got paid.
Somebody got paid.
Jimmy got paid.
Jimmy Garoppolo, 5 years, $137.5 million. I have a
73 guaranteed.
It's actually turned out to be 90 guaranteed.
90 guaranteed?
I have a breakdown of everything for you. Just gotta find it.
No, sorry, James. We don't have a call-in number yet. So, but you can chat. We read all the chats or all the all the posts that are good on the chat line. So
Is there a number I'd love to call in and talk Jimmy G? Yeah, unfortunately we don't. But if you want to put something in here while I look up what I'm looking for, you're more than welcome, and we will read it.
Oh, were they really, TJ? That's awesome.
What?
You could have got your fake Jimmy G counterfeit Jimmy G jersey.
Damn it! They're probably like $30 too. All right, so here we go. Let me. Fuck, I need to turn my brightness up. I'm getting old apparently.
If you had a real phone, it might help.
Oh yeah, your little ass phone that fits in my screen.
Yeah,
The fuck? No, Bixby, go away. All right. So Jimmy G, $137.5 million over 5 years, right? So it's, I don't know if it's coincidental or not, though, that Jimmy G, Kyle Shanahan, and John Lynch now are all locked up for the same duration.
That's cool.
Um,
I'm sure there's a coincidence.
Right. So $7 million signing bonus, guaranteed roster bonus of $28 million. His 2018 base salary is $6.2 million guaranteed. He gets a workout bonus of $600,000 and a per game bonus of $800,000. His first year total is $42.6 million.
I'd retire right then and there.
Right. $74.1 million injury guarantee is already kicked in. His base salary, or in this case, his BAS salary, is $17.2 million next year, or 2019.
That base is like
Right. 7.5 million, which is guaranteed at signing. In 2019, he gets the same bonuses, 600 and 800,000. For 2019, he will make 18.6 million for a 2-year total of 61.2 million, 10 million more than he would have received if he had been franchise tagged 2 straight years in a row. 2020 base salary, 23.8 million, 15.7 million of it, which is guaranteed for injury. If 49ers wanted to, they could cut him before April 1st of 2020, and he would have made 61.2 million and become a free agent. 2020, he gets a workout bonus and pregame of 600 and 800,000. So at the end of 3 seasons, he walks away with 86.4 million. 2021, his base salary is 24.1. Same workout and per game bonus of 600, 800. If he makes it to the NFC Championship game or is a first or second team All-Pro, he gets a $7.5 million injury guarantee that kicks in. In 2022, 24.2 million base salary, workout bonus is 600,000, per game is 800,000. That brings his total to 137.5 million. So,
and
I love it.
And James, I don't know if you've listened to us before, but you're spot on. They did a great job of front loading this contract. Where if they cut him in the last couple of years, they're going to save a lot of money. The cap hit of dead money is going to be minimal. And if they make a mistake, like they haven't before, they've had worse quarterbacks. So if they miss, it's going to cost them, but they have plenty of money to do it. It's not going to handcuff them for 10 seasons. And if they, if he does well, they really, by the time 2022 rolls around, 24 point whatever is going to be seriously underpaid.
We're going to make that as a fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's going to cost us that much to go to each game.
Right, exactly. And the nice thing about this, too, is the Niners had over $120 million in cap space going into this offseason.
Right.
So they signed Jimmy G to this large contract, and they still have roughly $86.5 million in cap space for this year. So let's just real quickly, let's look at the in retrospect to that. Right now, the 49ers realistically need a big wide receiver, a running back, probably a defensive back, a safety, and let's say 2 or 3 linemen, right?
Yeah, offensive linemen.
If they sign every one of those positions, if they sign the top player to every one of those positions to the league estimated, money that those top guys would get, the Niners roughly should still have $25 million in cap space this year.
Really?
Yes.
Wow,
So
I didn't know that.
The Niners are stacked to the roof right now, which makes it fun for Sammy G's. Oh boy, here's Sammy. Sammy's here.
Oh, Sammy, dude. God, I want to have a Sammy segment. I really do.
So James says they don't need a safety at all. All reports right now is that Eric Reed's not coming back. So it's going to be, Jaquiski Tart and Jimmy Ward right now. that they have at safety.
They could seriously update any position on that field. There's not one position, except maybe defensive line, that they
Middle linebacker
that they couldn't stand to upgrade a little bit. So, might as well. People are going to want to come play for these guys.
So speaking of that, Jimmy Garoppolo was on KNBR a couple days after signing his deal, and said that he's already getting text messages from multiple free agents that are curious about the landscape and the mindset and everything there. So free agents are not only having the Niners on their roster or on their radar, but they're already reaching out and trying to find info about this. Jimmy Ward with I forgot about Colbert. I like Colbert a lot, but if you could go out, and we're going to get to this in a second, if you can go out and get a guy like a Malcolm Butler at free safety, you kick the tires.
TJ, bite me.
What do you say?
What about a punter?
Fuck, I think it's too dead to do this. Oh, you just got to do it off the kill.
A fucking punter.
There it is. But anyway, so
thank you.
The lead question for this is, do the 49ers use their franchise tag? You don't got to use it on Jimmy now.
Who do you franchise?
Do you tag Eric Reed? Do you tag Carlos Hyde?
No.
Because right now, the running back pool is thin. Now,
but the draft is loaded.
Yeah, but we're not going to get Saquon Barkley, who everyone in Niner world keeps thinking we're going to get. He's not going to fall to 9 or 10.
The kid out of Oklahoma or Alabama, the big running back from Alabama, I forget what his name is. James and I were talking about this the other day.
James says Butler is a corner. Butler is a corner, but there's been talks about him sliding into a safety role as he's starting to get a little bit older. So that could be a flex guy. But yeah, I mean, you bring him in and play on the corner. The Niners corners are weak for sure. Sammy says 5 games makes you a Hall of Fame player. The league will figure Jimmy G out next year. I will put money on it that the league will figure out Mitchell Trubisky before they figure out Jimmy Garoppolo next year.
Yeah.
Because it's a system. It's not a quarterback. It's not a Colin Kaepernick. There's a system in place that Jimmy can operate under that is something that the league has yet to figure out. And, it's a lot different. So, Ronald Jones from USC is who I want in the draft at running back. I like that kid a lot.
I do too.
But so, I mean, do you... Like going back to Hyde, I mean, you could franchise tag Hyde, save some money. But I really like Matt Breida. I think he filled in the role nicely as a backup. And then they have Joe Williams that's coming off an injury as well, coming out of Utah, who I think is.
I liked Joe Williams last year, big time. I thought he was going to be.
I think he's going to be
going to make an impact.
The big one coming up though, and we only have a few more minutes left. We got to wrap this one up. Is you got to look at wide receiver. You have to make a serious play at some of the top wide receivers that are free agents.
Yeah.
And, I'll just read off a couple of them that are on the top of the list. Sammy Watkins from the Rams.
I'd take him.
If you can poach him from the Rams and weaken that offense a little bit, I think you definitely pursue it. What about Josh Gordon? Coming back from his suspension. He showed signs of life at the end of the year in Cleveland. He'd be a guy that I think that would be looking for a rebirth. He's a big guy that can stretch the field. I think he'd be a super low risk, high reward type player.
True. They wanted Trubisky. Oh, Trubisky.
I don't think Trubisky's going to be a bad quarterback. I just don't think he's going to. No,
he's not. No,
Jimmy G's going to be fine. Josh Gordon.
Who?
Josh Gordon.
I mean, if he can keep his head straight, in a heartbeat.
What about the same idea, but someone that wants to shine and prove his worth? What about Martavius Bryant?
From everything I've heard, Gordon is a good locker room guy.
Yeah.
And they like him. Martavius Bryant kind of is
the opposite of that?
He's kind of Isaiah Thomas in pads. I mean, he's got all the talent in the world. I'd take him talent-wise, absolutely.
Shit don't stink.
Yeah, and if you can't get along in Pittsburgh, you're not going to get along anywhere because that's one of the best pro player groups of management that there is anywhere in the league. And if you can't get along there, you're not going to get along in San Francisco. I would stay away from Bryant.
Okay. Speaking of Bryants, what if the Cowboys get rid of Dez Bryant? Do you give him a chance at a culture change? Kind of the reverse T.O. T.O. leaves San Francisco in a heap. He's kind of pissed off at the world. Goes to Dallas and kind of has a revitalization. Do you kind of flip that? Do you try to bring Dez in?
Dez was a disappointment this year. I mean, he didn't do very much.
But that Cowboys offense was a bit of a disappointment when Zeke went out. They didn't have that balance that freed up the wide receivers.
I'd give him. I think I would give him a chance. I'd take Dez.
Okay, what about Crabtree?
I think Crabtree's grown up. I think being in Oakland really helped him, and I think he's grown up. He has a quarterback that could actually get him the ball. I think he would come back.
I think Crabtree goes to Chicago. Just suck on that one, Sammy. Jarvis Landry. He's not the big guy. He's little, but he's one of those guys.
He gets open. He's
a sexy name, but I think you have Marquise Goodwin, you have Trent Taylor already. There's no real room for Jarvis Landry, especially on the outside. Allen Robinson from Jacksonville is coming off the ACL.
I'm not a big Allen Robinson fan. He's brittle. He gets hurt a lot.
Absolutely.
So I'd probably stay away from him.
Okay, what about Marquise Lee, also from Jacksonville? He's one of the guys that's been rumored to already contacted his agent about San Francisco, asking about the weather.
You know, he's kind of one of those potential guys. Coming out of college, he had tons of potential. He's never really lived up to it. Maybe a change of scenery will do him good, but I think he's the same receiver that we have already on the team.
Sammy, I could see that. I could see Jarvis Landry going to Chicago. One that I really like, and I think that this player set the tone for two other quarterbacks that should have followed suit that didn't, being Tim Tebow and Colin Kaepernick. But what about Terrell Pryor? He proved that he can play the wide receiver position, and it helps that he was a former quarterback, so he understands the routes. He understands getting through the defenses.
He's still in Cleveland, right?
He's in Washington.
Is he in Washington now?
Okay. In Washington, Alex Smith, sure, but, I mean, I just don't know that.
Yeah, I don't. He's a question mark. I mean, I would take him. I don't know that he's
big one.
I don't know he's going to leave now that Alex Smith is there.
Yeah, but Garoppolo or Smith?
Smith has proven.
Or let's do this.
Smith has proven.
I'll give you that. But what about the system in place? Gruden or Jay Gruden or Kyle Shanahan?
How much of Shanahan's system have we really seen with the Niners?
We've seen it with the Falcons, and now we have a quarterback that can execute it.
Yeah, that's true.
Last one. Dante Moncrief from the Colts. He'll be a free agent as well.
I think it sounds like everybody wants to get out of Indianapolis right now too. Right. He doesn't. Okay, that's kind of my reaction. Is okay.
Yep. All right. Well, we're gonna due to time constraints, Mr. Rosa.
Sean, congratulations, dude.
Yeah. Welcome, Super Bowl championship fan, Sean. He's one of the 10 we talked about that aren't shit eaters. That those fans don't don't put a bad name on the good ones.
Right.
We are gonna go ahead and
Philly.
You got 6 minutes to make an hour, and you got to get going.
No, I'm fine.
Okay, cool. So we'll keep moving on. No poop for me. Yeah, no shit. Let's see here. So. Wide receiver is going to be one that's going to be interesting, I think, because that is going to solidify what the 49ers offense typically can do. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. How do you feel about George Kittle and Selleck at tight end? They both were very good under Garoppolo. They were both shadows under the other system, under the other quarterbacks in the system. But if you have an opportunity to upgrade at tight end, do you abandon Kittle 1 year in?
I don't think you need to upgrade. That's when we talked earlier about the positions that need to be upgraded and don't need to be upgraded. I say tight end is one that we're pretty well set at.
Okay, well, let me tell you that. What if I told you that two big name tight ends are going to be on the market?
Gronk could be the only one that I'd want, and I don't want him either.
No, so Tyler Eifert from Cincinnati's out is going to be available.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Graham from Seattle is going to be available.
No, Graham hasn't done shit.
Okay. I'm just wondering.
No, I wouldn't take him. I like what we have.
I know, me too.
They're young.
I think
they're
Kittle
younger
has,
than both of those guys. They got tons of upside. They have more speed than all those guys.
And what I like about Kittle and Selleck that they both have something that Eifert and Graham don't have is they block.
Right. And they don't
block
mind blocking.
Well.
And they don't mind doing it. So, yeah, no, I wouldn't take either one of those
All right,
guys.
cool. So we'll move on to that. Running back. We already talked about Carlos Hyde. Do you tag him?
No.
You have Breida. You have Williams. Deion Lewis is available from New England.
Nah.
Darren Sproles. I think he's just too damn old.
Too old, and what's he going to give? What's he going to provide us?
He's Joe Williams. I mean, he'll do exactly what Breida or Williams are going to do.
Right.
And then the only other real big name wide or running back, unless you go to the draft, is Jared McKinnon from Minnesota.
Now you intrigue me. I like that.
Mike, you're right. Yes. So before we get to that, Mike says, I think the 49ers have to upgrade their offensive line. What have you heard regarding these positions? 100% yes. But if I go through an offensive line free agent list, it's going to be a whole bunch of staring at the camera going, who? Because no one knows offensive linemen. But with that being said, when I was researching my free agents, 4 starting offensive linemen from the New England Patriots are available in free agency right now. So you never know. I mean, if any team protects their quarterback well, it was New England. So maybe you grab a couple of those guys if they're available. But
and that's one position that you could get in the draft, and they can make an immediate impact.
Absolutely.
So
those big boys just all
and
they
we
do
have
is
plenty of
move.
draft picks. I would much rather have a young offensive lineman that we can build into a steady line than some guy that's been, it's 32 years old
in the trenches for 3 years, and he's
already. So I think that's where now that we got Garoppolo, which I thought we needed to go after our quarterback first, we don't need to now. You can pretty much go anywhere, and I hate this. I hate this more than anything, and I'm going to say it. You take the best athlete available, the best player available, no matter what position, because any position other than the ones we've talked about, quarterback, defensive line, tight end, any position that you take, if they work out, they're going to be an upgrade to what we have. They're going to help build what we have.
And the nice thing about this draft is after the top 6 or so, it turns in, and we're going back to your thought on McKinnon. You said you're intrigued by McKinnon.
Yeah.
After the top 6 or 7 picks, it turns into best available.
Right.
And what I think the Niners have a really good position is they sit at 10, I believe. They think they lost the coin flip to...
no, they got 9.
They got 9. Okay, so they won the coin toss. If you trade back to, say, 16, 17, right in the middle of the pack, and you get 2 second-rounders in this draft, I think you're better off than an early first-rounder in a sense, because how deep the draft is in the second and third rounds this year, you're going to get those quality players, and you're going to get 2 of them.
And Super Bowls are won. People think Super Bowls are won in the first round. No.
Nope.
Super Bowls are won in the second.
5 have been won in the 6th round. So
yeah. So I'd say 3, 4, and 5. Those picks right there are the ones that you need to be spot on.
The coin flip hasn't happened yet. So it's either 9 or 10.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, James. Yeah, this James guy's on point.
Yeah.
It happens at the combine. Perfect. What the?
Why did we?
Mike.
Damn it, Barnbaum.
Okay, so we have to read it. For now, at the quarterback position, I would not give Kirk Cousins an offer. No shit. At least at this moment, if I were the front office, that would be said, who would be Jimmy G's backup?
Bethard.
CJ's not going anywhere. He's under a rookie deal.
Yeah.
He's a very serviceable backup, and you don't let him go, because if something does happen to Jimmy G, or if he doesn't work out, then you have someone that can potentially be a very good quarterback in this league.
And Bethard wasn't ready to play, even though we all wanted him to. He was a step up from Hoyer, but he wasn't ready to play. If Jimmy G can stay healthy and play every game next year,
we may have a trade piece in Bethard.
Well, we'll have a guy now that's got 2 years under his belt, learning under somebody that learned under one of the greatest of all time.
Yep.
One of the greatest of all time.
Yep.
I think that's going to make him nothing but better.
I think Cousins goes to the Jets or Denver, and I think
or Arizona.
I think Denver has the edge on him.
Yeah.
McKinnon, you said you're intrigued by.
I like
McKinnon.
him. He kind of is a quiet, no nonsense, can do anything. Is a good strong runner between the tackles. Has speed.
Great out of the backfield.
I think, boy, if we could land him, that would be a major accomplishment. I hadn't thought about that, but I like that pickup a lot.
Absolutely.
Deion Lewis, he just doesn't do it for me, James. He's he's done all right in a system where no name running backs do pretty well. I just don't know if he
does have ties to Jimmy G though, so there could be some of that. But my only issue with Deion Lewis is I think he's a good running back, but like you said, it's a system thing. I would have really, and I didn't see anything with him before he went to New England. I would like to know what he's done outside of that basic system, because, and I say basic lightly, but outside of that New England system, because we've seen a lot of players that start there that don't come out of it as well from the position player. You know, obviously quarterbacks are good, wide receivers come out of there fine. I don't know. That one I think that's a toss up, and that one would worry me if you pass on a guy that we know can play in a high powered offense. So that one to me is hard. And then the other one I researched a little bit more was cornerbacks. We talked about Malcolm Butler. He's going to be available at corner. Obviously, we're all in on that. If they can get Malcolm Butler, you do it. A lot of Niner fans have been jumping up and down. A lot of them have been jumping up and down about the idea that Kansas City released Darrelle Revis. Why they're getting so excited about Revis and asking if the Niners should sign Revis is beyond me. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Darrelle Revis is not a guy that you want anywhere around your franchise unless you're making a deep playoff run and you have injury.
Hey, can we go back to Deion real quick?
Yeah.
So here's Deion Lewis. So he was drafted in 2011 by Philadelphia.
And Sean just said he never played here. He was always hurt. I think he's a system guy.
Yeah. He had his best year was in Philly, was his first year. He had 102 yards. He had 64 carries in 2016 for 283 yards at New England. And then last year, 180 carries for 896 yards, 6 TDs.
So he's getting better.
He's getting better, but he's a system guy.
Right.
He's definitely a system guy.
And I wonder if a lot of it has to do with the line he's playing behind. I mean, a good example of that, and it's not even really a close example of that, but a good example of that is Ezekiel Elliott. His rookie year, he was behind arguably the best offensive line that the NFL's seen in a long time, and he lit everybody up. The next year, their line wasn't as good. Obviously, he was suspended off and on, but there wasn't as strong of a running game. And I wonder if he goes from that elite offensive line that New England has to a good offensive line somewhere else and not an elite one, that he continues to progress in that same way. How do I get that banner in the background? The Sports Talk banner?
$1,000 sponsorship with a 2-year commitment.
There you go.
Per year.
Right. Where were we at? Cornerbacks. We talked about Revis is too damn old.
No.
The only other name that really comes up that is somewhat exciting just because of how coveted he was coming out of college and how well he played in a couple of systems was Prince Akamara, or whatever the fuck his name is. He played for the Giants for a number of years. I think he was in Chicago last year. Do you make a run? I mean, what do you do at cornerback? Do you do a Butler and go draft? Do you?
Yeah. So here's what I think, and basically, there's 3 positions that when you draft, you can get it. You can get players that can play right away: running back, offensive line, and cornerback.
Yeah.
And I think cornerback draft this year, I think, is going to be pretty strong. Everything I've said I've read is said that they're going to take a kid out of Ohio State at cornerback with the 9th or 10th pick. You can do that in the draft. You can get some guy who still has the speed. You're going to find guys who know how to play, but you're not going to find the speed. And I think somebody can come in and play cornerback and be successful out of the draft. So
Okay.
Oh no, I was just going to say. So that's I would tend to head in those directions from the draft before I do anything else.
James said, or draft Josh Jackson from Iowa. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the Niners decide they want to do, and this is the first time we've got to do this and talk about this in a long time, they could sign damn near everyone we talked about and still have money left over to donate to us. So there's only a few teams that have the cap space that the Niners have, even remotely close to it. So it's going to be one of those things where you look at like 3 or 4 teams in the league that are bidding on players, and the culture right now in San Francisco gives them the edge. There's not a rebuilding team right now in the league that has this aura floating around them of excitement and promise that the 49ers have right now. And it's a damn good feeling to have.
Yeah. And I think if Sammy was on, he'd say, "Well, how come the Niners can do it and the Kings can't?" In their GM,
we have a GM.
Yeah, 2 different sports. Don't get me started on Sammy. Sammy and I don't get along on.
Yeah, I don't get along with him either,
Social
but
media.
he's
a good guy.
He's a lot like Barnbaum.
He's passionate.
He knows his stuff. It's just, he has a very strong opinion, and it's hard to sway him off of it. So,
Yep.
But yeah, anything else?
No, that's all I got.
All right, so find us on iTunes, find us on Podbean. It's on Mixler every week. We're also on Google Play Music. If you guys can, please go on and leave us a review on both of those. We want to climb the ranks. We want to get some reviews up. We want to get some notoriety as we continue to build.
And don't go on Wildfire. We're no longer on Wildfire, so we have to redo that intro.
For
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, so go on iTunes, give us a shout out, give us a review. If you go ahead and do that, let us know on Facebook, and we'll read the review and give you a shout out and some thanks.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. But for Greg Veroza, I'm Greg Bowl. Sean says, yeah, fuck them. We'll see you guys next week.
Night, Larry.
Later, guys.